Forget cranberry juice and saw palmetto supplements. There's one glass men in the Caucasus Mountains drink at dawn that shrinks the prostate faster than medications, and Western urologists won't tell you about it. If you're over 60, waking up 4 or more times every single night to pee, and your doctor says it's just age, what I discovered in a remote village will make you angry and hopeful at the same time. You're not just losing sleep. You're losing intimacy, confidence, and precious years with the people you love. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's in that glass in the next 60 seconds, not at the end of this video. Because I know you're tired of videos that make you wait 15 minutes for the answer. You deserve value immediately. Let me tell you how I found this. 3 years ago, I was invited to a longevity conference in Tbilisi, Georgia. During a village tour in the Caucasus Mountains, I met 83-year-old shepherds who worked 12-hour days in brutal conditions, carrying equipment up steep trails, tending livestock in freezing temperatures. And not one of them complained about prostate issues. Not one mentioned waking up at night. Not one talked about weak flow or constant urgency. These men were sleeping soundly, working hard, and living fully. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. In my practice back in the United States, 60% of my male patients over 70 struggle with prostate symptoms. But here, in this remote mountain village, men in their 80s and even 90s were thriving. I asked their local doctor, a man who'd been practicing in that region for 40 years, what the secret was. He smiled and said, "We don't treat the prostate like it's broken. We feed it what it needs. And we drink our medicine every morning before sunrise." That one sentence changed how I treat my patients. I'm Dr. Mei Anderson. I've been specializing in men's health for over 25 years. And I've listened to thousands of men describe the same frustration. The constant bathroom trips that interrupt sleep, work, and social activities. The exhaustion from broken sleep that makes every day feel like you're walking through fog. The embarrassment when intimacy becomes impossible because you're too tired or too worried about performance. The isolation that comes from planning your entire life around bathroom availability. But what those Georgian shepherds taught me is that your prostate doesn't need more supplements. It needs circulation. And one glass at dawn opens the floodgates. Here's what makes this drink different from everything else you've tried. It contains 3 compounds that do what pills can't. Reduce inflammation, block DHT hormone, and restore blood flow all at once. Most prostate supplements target one problem. Maybe they reduce swelling. Maybe they improve flow slightly. But they don't address the root cause, which is why so many men take them for years and still struggle with the same symptoms. This drink targets all 3 problems simultaneously. And it does it naturally, using the same compounds your body already recognizes and knows how to process. Let me introduce you to Warren. He's 71 years old. When he came to my office 2 years ago, he was waking up 6 times every single night. Sometimes more. His marriage was strained because his wife thought he didn't want her anymore. He'd stopped going on golf trips with his friends because he couldn't trust his bladder for 4 hours on the course. He'd stopped going to movies, restaurants, or anywhere that didn't have a bathroom within 30 seconds. Warren told me, "Doc, I'm desperate. I've tried medications that gave me headaches and killed my libido. I've tried supplements that did absolutely nothing. I've tried reducing my water intake at night, which just left me dehydrated and made the problem worse. I'll try anything at this point." I could see the exhaustion in his eyes. Not just physical tiredness from broken sleep, but the kind of deep weariness that comes from losing control of your own body. The kind that makes a man question his identity. Here's what most men don't understand, and what most doctors won't tell you. 6 bathroom trips aren't just annoying. They're your body's alarm bell screaming that something is seriously wrong. Studies published in the Journal of the American Medical Association show that men with severe urinary symptoms are 3 times more likely to develop clinical depression, and twice as likely to have a major cardiovascular event within 5 years. This isn't about convenience. It's about survival. Your circulatory system, your heart health, and your mental well-being are all connected to what's happening in your prostate. I've sat across from men who stopped traveling because they couldn't handle being away from familiar bathrooms. Men who stopped being intimate with their partners because the fear of failure was more painful than the loneliness. Men who stopped living because they were chained to a bathroom. They planned their entire lives around bathroom locations. Gas stations every 20 miles on road trips. Restaurants with bathrooms near the entrance. Movie theaters with aisle seats. They wake up exhausted every morning because they never get REM sleep, the deep restorative sleep your brain and body need to repair and function. Warren told me something that broke my heart. He said, "My wife thinks I don't want her anymore. She thinks I've lost interest. The truth is, I'm terrified I'll fail. I'm terrified that even if we try, my body won't cooperate. The embarrassment has killed my confidence. The lack of sleep has killed my energy. I don't feel like a man anymore. I feel like a shell of who I used to be." That's the real cost of prostate problems. Not just the physical symptoms that doctors measure and track, but the loss of identity, the feeling that your body has betrayed you, the sense that manhood itself is slipping away. Here's what's really happening inside your body, and why this drink works when supplements don't. Your prostate grows because of 3 simultaneous attacks happening at the cellular level. First, excess DHT, which is a testosterone byproduct, acts like fertilizer on prostate tissue. As you age, an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase converts more and more of your testosterone into DHT, and DHT tells your prostate cells to multiply and grow. Second, chronic inflammation makes that tissue swell like a sponge soaking in water. This inflammation comes from oxidative stress, poor diet, environmental toxins, and the natural aging process. When tissue is inflamed, it holds fluid, presses against surrounding structures, and creates that constant feeling of urgency. Third, poor circulation starves cells of oxygen and nutrients, triggering distress signals that make the prostate grow even more as a protective response. Your body thinks the prostate is under attack, so it enlarges to try to protect itself. But that enlargement is exactly what causes the symptoms. Pills target one problem. Maybe they reduce inflammation slightly. Maybe they block some DHT conversion. But they don't address the root cause, which is why so many men take medications for years, deal with side effects like dizziness and erectile dysfunction, and still struggle with symptoms. This drink targets all 3 problems simultaneously. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Urology followed 200 men with benign prostatic hyperplasia, who consumed these specific compounds daily. After just 12 weeks, they saw an average 40% reduction in prostate volume measured by ultrasound. Their urinary flow rates improved by 35%, and their quality of life scores doubled. That's not a small change. That's not marginal improvement. That's life-changing results. Let me break down the mechanism in simple terms so you understand exactly what's happening in your body. Compound number 1 consists of polyphenol, specifically punicalagins, that block an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. This is the exact enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. When you block it naturally, you stop feeding the prostate that constant growth signal. Your testosterone stays as testosterone, which is what you want for energy, mood, and performance. Compound number 2 contains natural anti-inflammatories called elagitannins that are actually stronger than ibuprofen in reducing tissue swelling, but without the gastrointestinal side effects or liver stress that comes from long-term NSAID use. These compounds target the inflammatory pathways specifically in prostate tissue, and compound number 3 contains precursors that boost nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and expand. When circulation improves to your pelvic region, oxygen and nutrients flood in, waste products flush out, and cells can finally repair themselves instead of staying in distress mode. When I tested this protocol with Warren, I told him, drink this 30 minutes after waking, on an empty stomach for 3 weeks. That's all I'm asking. Just give your body 3 weeks to respond. He looked at me skeptically and said, "That's it? Just 1 glass? No pills? No procedures?" I said yes. 1 glass. But you have to be consistent. You can't do it 3 days, skip 4 days, and expect results. Your body needs daily signaling to rewire these pathways. Warren agreed to try it. He told me later he didn't actually believe it would work. He thought it was too simple. But he was desperate enough to be consistent. Now here's exactly what's in that glass, and the precise way to make it. The drink is a fermented pomegranate and nettle root tea, but not the way you buy it in stores. Not the processed versions sitting on supermarket shelves that have lost 70% of their potency. This is the traditional preparation that Georgian men have used for centuries, passed down through generations. Here are the exact ingredients you need. 1 cup of pure pomegranate juice with absolutely no sugar added. Check the label carefully because most pomegranate juices are mixed with apple or grape juice and loaded with added sugars. You want 100% pomegranate. 2 tablespoons of dried nettle root, and I want to emphasize this clearly: nettle root, not nettle leaf. They're completely different plants with completely different compounds. Nettle leaf is what you find in most teas. Nettle root is what you need for prostate health. You'll find it at health food stores or online. 1 teaspoon of raw honey, which is optional but helps with absorption of the polyphenol. And half a teaspoon of ground pumpkin seed for zinc. You can grind whole pumpkin seeds in a coffee grinder, or buy them already ground. Here's the preparation method, and every step matters. Boil the nettle root in 8 ounces of filtered water for exactly 5 minutes. Not 3 minutes, not 10 minutes. 5 minutes extracts the beta-cytosterol without breaking it down. Then remove it from heat, and let it cool to room temperature. This is absolutely critical. Hot liquid destroys the polyphenol you need from the pomegranate juice. If you add pomegranate juice to hot liquid, you've just wasted the most important compound. Once the nettle tea has cooled completely to room temperature, mix it with the pomegranate juice, honey, and ground pumpkin seed. Stir it well so everything combines. Then drink it within 10 minutes of mixing because the active compounds start degrading when exposed to air and light. Timing matters more than most men realize. Drink this 30 minutes after waking, before any food enters your stomach. Why? Because your stomach acid is at its lowest point in the morning, which means absorption is at its highest. When you eat food first, your stomach produces acid to digest it, and that acid destroys some of the delicate compounds in this drink. Also, your circadian cortisol dip happens during this early morning window. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When it's lower, anti-inflammatory compounds can take effect more powerfully, because they're not competing with inflammatory signals. Here's what you absolutely need to avoid. Don't drink this with dairy products. Don't add milk. Don't drink it alongside yogurt or cheese. Dairy contains calcium that binds to polyphenol and blocks their absorption completely. You'll get almost zero benefit. Don't drink it cold from the refrigerator. Cold liquid constricts blood vessels, especially in your digestive tract, which defeats the entire purpose of improving circulation. Room temperature is ideal. And don't skip days. Consistency is what rewires your prostate signaling pathways. Doing this 3 days a week won't work. Your body needs daily input to change its patterns. Let me explain in more detail why each ingredient matters and what it's doing inside your body. Pomegranate contains 3 times more antioxidants than green tea. But more importantly for prostate health, it contains punicalagins, which are large polyphenol compounds that have been shown in multiple peer-reviewed studies to directly shrink prostate tissue. Not just reduce symptoms, not just improve flow, actually shrink the physical size of the gland by reducing cell proliferation. A study from UCLA followed men with rising PSA levels who drank 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily. Their PSA doubling time increased dramatically, meaning their prostate growth slowed significantly. Some men saw their PSA levels stabilize completely. Nettle root blocks DHT receptors in prostate tissue. It's been studied in over 12 clinical trials across Europe with remarkably consistent results. Men who take nettle root extract see measurable improvements in urinary flow rates, reduction in residual urine volume, and shrinking of prostate size measured by ultrasound. But here's the critical distinction most men miss. It has to be nettle root, not nettle leaf. The root contains beta-cytosterol and other plant sterols that compete with DHT for receptor binding sites. When beta-cytosterol occupies those receptors, DHT can't attach and signal growth. The leaf doesn't contain these compounds in meaningful amounts. Using nettle leaf tea is essentially useless for prostate health. Pumpkin seed restores zinc at the cellular level. Your prostate holds more zinc than any other organ in your body. Healthy prostate tissue has zinc concentrations 10 times higher than other soft tissues. When zinc levels drop, which happens naturally as men age and also from poor diet, the prostate loses its ability to regulate its own growth. The cells can't respond properly to hormonal signals. They can't repair DNA damage effectively, and they become more susceptible to inflammation. Just half a teaspoon of ground pumpkin seed provides approximately 20% of your daily zinc requirement in a highly bioavailable form. Combined with the zinc-sparing effect of reduced inflammation from the other ingredients, this restores the mineral balance your prostate desperately needs. After 3 weeks of drinking this every single morning, Warren came back to my office for a follow-up appointment. I could see the difference in him before he even sat down. His face looked rested. His posture was different, more upright and confident. The weariness I'd seen in his eyes was gone. He said, "Doc, I didn't want to get my hopes up, so I didn't tell you this. But by day 9, I woke up and realized I'd only gotten up once during the night. I thought it was a fluke, but it kept happening. By the end of week 3, I was waking up once, sometimes not at all." By week 4, Warren was sleeping through the night completely for the first time in over 3 years. His energy returned during the day. He stopped needing afternoon naps. His wife noticed he was present again, engaged in conversations, laughing at dinner instead of being irritable and withdrawn. By week 8, they were intimate for the first time in over a year. Warren told me, "I forgot what it felt like to wake up refreshed. To not dread going to bed, because I knew I'd be up 5 times. To not plan every outing around bathroom locations. This drink gave me my life back. It gave me my confidence back. It gave me my marriage back." He still makes it 18 months later. Every single morning without fail. He calls it his morning reset. His wife calls it his miracle drink. Here's what I need you to understand about Warren's transformation. His body isn't special. His genetics aren't unique. He simply gave his prostate what it had been desperately asking for. Circulation through nitric oxide, anti-inflammatory support through polyphenol, DHT control through plant sterols, and zinc for cellular function. His body did the rest because bodies are designed to heal when given the right tools. Let me tell you about Dale. He's 68 years old. He'd been struggling with prostate issues for a full decade. 10 years of progressive worsening. He tried medications, but the side effects were brutal. Dizziness when he stood up, headaches that lasted hours, and complete loss of libido, which made him feel even less like himself. He felt like he was trading one problem for 3 others, and none of them were acceptable. When Dale started this drink protocol, I told him the same thing I told Warren. Be consistent. Give your body time. Don't expect overnight miracles, but do expect real change if you stay committed. Week 2, Dale's bathroom trips dropped from 8 per night to 3. He called me excited, asking if this was normal. I told him yes, this is exactly what we want to see. Week 6, he texted me a photo from a hiking trail with his grandkids. The caption said, "First time in 5 years I didn't panic about finding a bathroom. First time in 5 years I could just enjoy being with them." Dale told me later, "I forgot what freedom felt like. I'd become a prisoner in my own body, and I didn't even realize how much it was controlling my life until it stopped controlling me." I've now had over 40 patients try this protocol with careful monitoring and follow-up. The average results are a 60% reduction in nighttime urination within 4 weeks. Most men report dramatically better sleep quality, higher energy levels during the day, and renewed confidence in social situations and intimate relationships. But more importantly, they report feeling like themselves again. That sense of control over their own bodies. That feeling of being capable and strong. That confidence that comes from knowing you can trust your body to function properly. One patient told me, "I didn't realize how much anxiety I was carrying until it disappeared. I was constantly worried about where the nearest bathroom was, how long until I'd need to go again, whether I could make it through this meeting or that dinner. Now I don't think about it at all. It's just not a concern anymore." This isn't magic. It's not a miracle cure. It's biology. It's giving your body the specific compounds it needs to restore balance. But your body needs time to rebuild. Inflammation doesn't disappear overnight. Blood vessels don't heal in 24 hours. Hormonal pathways don't rewire instantly. Every morning you skip this drink, your prostate stays inflamed. DHT keeps building and attaching to receptors. Circulation stays blocked. And the problem doesn't just stay the same. It gets progressively worse. Not better, worse. If you're serious about restoring your vitality, about sleeping through the night again, about feeling confident in your own body, and reclaiming the parts of your life that prostate problems have stolen, then subscribe to Vital Health Seniors right now. Because in my next video, I'm exposing the one food hiding in your pantry that undoes everything this drink does. It's in 90% of senior kitchens. Your doctor has probably told you it's heart healthy. It might even be something you eat every single morning thinking you're doing something good for your body, but it's secretly enlarging your prostate and destroying your performance. This food blocks the exact pathways this drink is trying to open. It increases inflammation. It raises DHT levels. And it constricts blood vessels. You could drink this pomegranate nettle blend perfectly every morning and still struggle if you're eating that food. I'll reveal what it is, why it's so damaging despite being marketed as healthy, and what to replace it with for actual prostate protection. You cannot afford to miss that video. I also want to ask you something important. I know how hard this topic is to talk about. Men suffer in silence because they're embarrassed. Because they think it's just their bodies failing them, and there's nothing they can do. Because they don't want to admit they're struggling with something so personal. But if this video helped you, if you learned something that could change your mornings and transform your quality of life, there's someone in your life who needs to see it. Maybe it's a friend at church who keeps leaving service early. A brother who's stopped traveling with the family. A golf buddy who keeps making excuses to leave after 9 holes instead of playing 18. Share this video with him. You might save his marriage. You might give him back his confidence and sense of manhood. You might literally add years to his life because prostate issues are early warning signs of bigger cardiovascular problems. When blood flow is restricted to your pelvis, it's often restricted elsewhere too. Sharing this information isn't just being nice, it's potentially life-saving. Let me leave you with this truth. The difference between a man who sleeps through the night and one who doesn't isn't age. It isn't genetics. It isn't luck. It's one glass. Same body, different strategy. Your prostate has been trying to tell you something for months or maybe years. It's been screaming for circulation, for anti-inflammatory support, for DHT control. And now you know exactly how to give it what it needs. Warren gave his body 3 weeks. That's 21 mornings. 21 glasses. And his life transformed completely. Dale gave his body 6 weeks and rediscovered the freedom he thought was gone forever. How different would your life look 6 weeks from now if you started tomorrow morning? If you woke up, made this drink, and gave your body a real chance to heal itself? I'm Dr. Mei Anderson. Your age doesn't define your vitality. Your choices do. Make the choice. Take action today, not next week. And I'll see you in the next video where I reveal the supposedly heart-healthy food that's sabotaging everything you're trying to accomplish. You absolutely don't want to miss it.